6. Now, you've probably read about giants in fairy tales, and you've probably seen giants in comic books and cartoons. But you haven't really experienced giants until you've met one up close. And once you've done that, believe me, you would be perfectly happy to never ever meet another one. I knew giants were big. I had no idea they were so disgusting. We stood on one side of the castle moat with King Arthur, Merlin, and the Knights of the Round Table. Bleob stood on the other. He was a terrifying sight, and an even more terrifying smell. He towered at least 20 feet, wore no clothes except 2 bloody ox hides tied around his waist, and hid the largest and ugliest face I have ever seen behind a crazy mess of black hair. Rotted bits of meat and bone, tree branches, giant drool, and cow manure drew a cloud of flies around his beard. If the sight of Bleob wasn't enough to make you cry, the smell of him definitely was. For the first time in my life, I was speechless and a bit dizzy. "Make haste with the magic," said Merlin. "The foul air doth dull the senses." Sam nudged me and handed me a little stick he had split halfway down the middle. He and Fred had already clamped their noses with Sam's homemade clothespins. I quickly did the same. "Hello, Mr. Giant," I said, talking through my plugged nose. "How can we help you?" And do you know what he answered? Of course you don't, because you weren't there. Well, I'll tell you the truth. He belched. A long, loud, wet, noisy, and totally disgusting burp. Sir Percival and the 3 knights closest to him raised their shields. They were too late and took the full force of that awful blast. All 4 fainted dead away. "Give Bleob 3 fair damsels to eat now, or Bleob smash castle," said you-know-who. And I almost hate to tell you what he did next. Let's just say that when he snorted, he knocked down 2 more knights with one blow, and he didn't use a Kleenex. Merlin gave us the hurry up eye. I figured there was no way to stop this monster, and was just about to yell, "Every man for himself," and run, when Sam stepped forward. "Now, just a minute, Mr. Bleob," said Sam, adjusting his glasses. "You can't go around treating Knights of the Round Table like that." He pointed to the pile of knights covered with green giant slime. "We are 3 very powerful magicians who could wipe the floor with you if we wanted. But we're in a good mood today, so we've decided to give you a chance to have your wish come true. Right, fellow magicians?" Fred and I looked at each other, and back at Sam again. We didn't have the faintest idea what he was talking about. Bleob looked just as confused as we were. "Right," we said. "Since you fairy tale giants are always asking people riddles, we've decided to give you a chance to save your miserable skin by answering our riddle. If you answer the riddle, you can eat your fill of fair damsels. If you can't answer the riddle, you leave and never return, okay?" Bleob answered in a way too rude to describe. We grabbed our stick clothespins and ducked. 10 brave knights fell like bowling pins, victims of gas warfare. "I'll take that to mean yes," said Sam. "So, for all the marbles, why did the giant wear red suspenders?" "Why did giant wear red suspenders?" Bleob repeated slowly to himself. He raised an arm to scratch his head and unleashed a storm of flies and a poisonous whirlwind of armpit odor that struck down another 5 knights. Because red was Giant's favorite color." "Buzz! Wrong," said Sam. "He wore red suspenders to hold his pants up. You lose. Goodbye." Bleob shook his head and scratched it again. 2 fish heads and 1 rotten apple core fell out. Everyone held their breath. Bleob turned to go. Fred and I clapped Sam on the back. We were just about to go razz Merlin when we heard the awful sound. It was another bone-rattling, teeth-chattering giant burp. "Duh, hey, wait a minute. You tricked Bleob. Giants no wear suspenders." The angry giant turned and stomped back toward us. Even the trees shook. "Bleob not like little peoples what trick him. Bleob crushes little peoples what trick him." Bleob stepped over the moat like it was a puddle. He raised 1 foot, which I won't even describe because it would spoil your appetite for a week, to crush us all.